The focus of my capstone project surrounds terrain generation and ancient Greek architecture. To guide my focus, I will create a short film about a Spartan soldier in training that has been tossed into the wild and left to pit his wits and will against nature's fury with nothing but his trusty spear. This leads into my research question: how can one create an environment of a scene that establishes specific location and evokes a certain mood for the story? My aim of this project is to create a highly realistic landscape and a creature that is conveyed through the environment also. I started off this project working on a completely different narrative, but due to unforeseen circumstances, I was forced to restart. This granted me an opportunity to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the previous story and use this to bolster the pre-visualization of my new project. This story is a metaphor for trials I am going through in my own life and is quite close to my heart. This ties back into practice-based research, as Sullivan states in his book, that at the heart of art and the center of research is human engagement and the ownership of stories that speak to us and for us. Initially, I found the timing of the tension build-up to be ineffective, as a large rush of emotions were present only towards the ending scene. This felt like a missed opportunity to convey vital detail of the story and characters, as the film is so short. I've decided to introduce the tension much earlier and build up to a climax to allow the viewers to analyze the situation alongside the hero in my project. In regards to the case studies in my annotated bibliography, most are no longer relevant to my project. However, the contextualization for my current work explored classic Greek films such as Troy, which I used for style inspiration of military armor for the character. I referred back to this case study during the creation process of cloth simulations with motion captured actors. Through iterative processing, I realized how complex the procedure is. Due to multiple collisions between high-quality simulations, more problems are starting to arise. The question I was attempting to answer with this experiment was if using cloth simulation with motion capture footage is a good substitute for the animation of a character and will give highly realistic and dynamic results. Reflecting on this process, I found that cloth simulation wasn't the best substitute, as it had its own strengths and weaknesses. This once again ties to methodology, as Estelle Barrett talks about how innovation is derived from methods that cannot always be predetermined, and outcomes of artistic research are necessarily unpredictable. The feedback I received from peers informed me that using blend shapes for cloth and animation in Maya may have produced equivalent results more quickly and efficiently. However, with the knowledge I have acquired so far, it will be easier to execute the pipeline as I have a much greater understanding of the process and software. The first space I created was the island of Thermopylae. I looked at detailed satellite footage of the area and researched the flora residing naturally in Greece. I then generated a terrain in Houdini that was close to the geological structure of the area, while taking some creative liberties in order to work with my story. This required a great deal of iterative testing, as I am new to the terrain tools in Houdini. This allowed me to create a balanced and accurate representation of the landscape. Another case study I'm investigating is 300, for its architectural representation of the time period. I am currently in the process of learning how to work in a modular-based scene creation format that will allow me to model in essentially an asset-style kit to create large scenes quickly. I've modeled small stone blocks which I've been using to turn into larger walls and stairs, as a great deal of vernacular-style architecture was present in ancient Greece. This keeps the structures simplistic and practical, as they would have been built using local materials and knowledge, usually without the supervision of professional architects. This will keep the audience grounded in the scene and the time period, adding to the realism of the project. This links to practice-based research, as I am attempting to broaden my technical skills in the field. As in research procedures for artists and designers, it is brought up that specialists know more and more about less and less, until he knows everything about nothing. Going forward, I'll be investigating creature creation that can be conveyed through the surrounding environment or weather. I'm taking inspiration from the legend of the grey wolf in Turkish mythology, named Gokboru, which in the culture is a symbol for honor. The Spartan must earn this honor by completing this trial and overcoming the wolf. I will attempt to create this creature through smoke particles and low fog that it embodies to give a truly mythical presence.